This is the story of betrayal, of giving up completely, of joining the enemy. This is the story of how I, after nearly a decade of using an Android phone, ended up buying this, and betrayed everything I ever stood for. Let's go back to the beginning, the very beginning. The year was 2012. This is the year that I joined the war. It was a Nexus 7 tablet, my first smart device, a partnership between Asus and Google at the time. I was instantly a fan both of the Nexus line and of Android. Thanks to cloud storage, here is the first photo I ever took on a smart device. And the second. And the third. Being firmly in the Android camp, whilst living in a part of the world dominated by the enemy, I was de facto part of the resistance and swore that I would never ever buy an iPhone. Being an operative in the resistance meant that I had to collect intel, and I started watching reviews on the latest tech devices, their specifications, and the rumors for forthcoming devices. In my early years in the war, I used a burner phone, a track phone, like any good operative would do. But I was given the opportunity to try a smartphone for the first time, and I got a Motorola device. It served me well for a time, but not wanting to be easily traced back to other members in the resistance, I branched out on my own and got my own smartphone. My weapon of choice was a Note 7 from Samsung. Yes, the smartphone that was blowing up in people's pockets and was banned from airplanes and was subsequently recalled by Samsung. Clearly the enemy was at work here. My replacement device was the first Google Pixel phone, and I got the Google Pixel XL. It had a great camera, I loved the phone to death, and it had the Google Assistant, which was pretty much brand new at the time. I now have 4 Google Home speakers in my home. Enough said. At this point, you could probably consider me to be an Android resistance veteran. I had a Google Pixel phone, I had Google Home, I had basically everything but a Chromebook. I even had a Wear OS watch for a short time. But tragedy struck 2 days before my wedding. The Pixel phone that I loved so dearly went into boot loop. I had people coming into town. I had to be able to communicate with them. So I did the responsible thing. I went to Verizon and I got the very first phone available, and it was an LG G7 Thin Q. Let me tell you, life was not good. I struggled through using that phone for about a year and a half, and it was not fun. The salesman at Verizon must have been part of the enemy. My replacement weapon of choice was trying Samsung again, and I got the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus 5G, my very first 5G phone. This, granted, was a pretty smashing device, very solid phone, and I got plenty of good use out of it. It had one problem. That problem was that it was a Samsung. Now, Samsung has this thing where they like to have 10 ways to do the same function. That's about 9 too many. I like to follow the simpler is better approach, and I tried to use Android in as close to stock experience as possible. I realized that I was not doing the traditionally Android things anymore. I wasn't using all the customizable features on Android. I wasn't downloading launchers. I wasn't downloading icon packs. I was using the most basic version of Android possible. And that only means one thing. I had lost the will to fight. In this war-fatigued state, I made one critical error. I watched a piece of intelligence on the new M1 Mac Mini from Apple. Was it intelligence or was it propaganda? That being said, people were editing video footage on this way smoother than I was on my current device, which was a Windows PC, and I bought it, and I put it in my home, and I started using it, and I got rid of my Windows PC, and it lived up to the hype. And then I made my second error. I purchased an iPad to go with it. The Mac Mini was the hook, the iPad was the line. After 3 years of being married to wifey, who is a devoted iPhone user and a member of the enemy camp, she was pushing me closer and closer to the edge. I was close, but I was hanging on by a thread. It was then that I made one final error. I made the sole criterion for my next device to hinge on the quality of the video coming out of the cell phone's camera. Google, Samsung, and Apple indeed have top-tier photo and video quality. But who would win? I was basically done with Samsung. That left the Google Pixel 6 to go head-to-head with the iPhone 13. I did what any good operative would do, and I began to collect intelligence. I watched Mr. Who's the Boss and MKBHD. They both concurred. The iPhone had the better video quality. I had checkmated myself. So now here I am, with a Mac Mini, the Hook, an iPad, the Line, and an iPhone 13 Pro, the Sinker. I am no longer part of the resistance. So far for me, the war is over. And wifey is quite happy about it. And if you're wondering, yes, the iPhone 13 Pro is a very good phone, and I look forward to exploring every aspect of it in the coming years. That's it for today, folks. Thank you for watching. Bye.